Hi owls, it is Tuesday the 2nd of February and it's time for the next part of our story, Witch Wars. Okay, we are on to chapter 33, which is called Raggy Ann. In less than a second they were smack bang back in the middle of Bruise. Hundreds of little witches were stocking the shelves again. Tiga and Peggy looked at each other. Their hair was now in ridiculously elaborate updos. Fran's hair was also in an elaborate updo. But then again, it always was. "Oh, I almost forgot," said Tiga, handing Fluffanora the little leather folder of Eddie Egby's fashion findings. "For me?" said Fluffanora, beaming at Tiga. She flicked through it. "The ruffled skirts!" "I know," said Tiga. "The bonnets!" "I know," said Tiga. "Do you still wear those?" Fluffanora asked, sounding a bit disgusted. "Nah," said Tiga. "Everything in there is from hundreds of years ago. That's when Eddie Egby explored above the pipes." "This is honestly the best thing anyone has ever given me," Fluffanora said, squeezing Tiga. "Thank you so much." One of the little Bruise witches poked her head through the clothes hanging on the rail next to them. "So, what's your next move?" "Yes," said Fluffanora. "What now?" "Felicity Bat stole a clue, so we're not really sure," Tiga explained. "Oh, I was so annoyed Felicity Bat destroyed a clue before everyone had seen it," said the little witch, pushing the rail to the side and sending it flying across the room. "There was talk of getting her disqualified, but it's allowed apparently. I'd call it cheating, but she's playing it sneaky, just like her gran Celia Crayfish did. At least Crispy found her and is filming her now." Tiga's eyes lit up. "TV, TV, 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 TV!" she cried. A huge image appeared on the wall of Bruise. It was Felicity Bat and Aggie Hoof. They were walking along a foggy street lined with big black houses and snow-tipped trees. "Pearl Peaks," said Peggy, stepping so close to the screen she banged into the wall. "Where's Aggie Hoof's hat?" asked Fran, her nose scrunched and her arms crossed. "She should have her hat on." "The clue must have led them to Pearl Peak. Maybe we should go there," said Tiga. "Pearl Peak is miles away. That's a silly move," said Fluffanora, adjusting Peggy's skew-whiff hat. Peggy nodded. "We have to go, though. We have nothing else to go on." Fluffanora grabbed a long sequin jacket from one of the rails. "Mum! Get here right now. We need a lift." Fluffanora spotted Tiga and Peggy's shocked faces. "What?" said Fluffanora. "We were planning to go for dinner at the Little Leaf restaurant in the treetops a couple of miles from Pearl Peak, and she loves driving Raggy Ann." "Raggy Ann?" Tiga and Peggy said at the same time. "Raggy Ann," Fluffanora said with a smile. Raggy Ann was Mrs. Bruce's car, but it wasn't like any car Tiga had ever seen before. For starters, it didn't have any sides, just 5 black, squishy sofa-like chairs that were joined together by some sparkly black metal. Each chair had a little table in front of it, apart from one which had a huge ornate steering wheel, and on each table were grey squares that looked like buttons. "Oh, I've heard about these," Peggy cried as they zoomed along Ritzy City's main street. Fluffanora turned round. Mrs. Bruce's head bobbed along in front, topped with an enormous grey hat with little pom-poms round the edge. "Get some food if you want. You must be starving," she said. Tiga was starving. Clearly so was Peggy, because she started dribbling. "Do you know how it works?" Fluffanora called back. "I think so," Peggy said, turning to Tiga. "Okay, so this is cool. Each square is a button for the shops and restaurants we're passing. So just say you wanted some shoes from that shoe shop there." Tiga looked where Peggy was pointing. It was a shoe shop called Hex Heels. "Like Miss Hex," Tiga laughed. "Oh yeah," Peggy laughed. "Well, you press the Hex Heels button on your table and then look, it shows you all the shoes in the shop, and as long as you're not too far away from the shop, you just press the ones you want and then it should..." Peggy stared at the table. Tiga heard a noise behind her. She looked round and saw a pair of shoes whizzing through the air. They landed with a little thud on Peggy's table. Peggy pressed the button with a cross on them, and then they whizzed away. Cool, huh? And so you can do the same with the restaurants you pass. Any restaurants on the grey squares that appear on the table. Tiga couldn't believe it. She looked down and scanned the little grey squares. Inventive ice creams, knobbly noodles, the Gull and Chip Tavern. It's amazing, she cried. Fluffernusa shook her head. Oh no, not the food at the Gull and Chip Tavern. It's anything but amazing, she said. Peggy laughed as a huge bowl of noodles from Knobbly Noodles landed on her table. They weren't like noodles Tiga had seen before. They were all knobbly. She laughed and ordered exactly the same. So, how's it all going? Mrs. Brew asked. I haven't had time to watch Witch Wars. Fran butted in and explained that Peggy and Tiga had been doing really well, but were now doing really badly. There was the Waverley Way detour and also, Fran explained through gritted teeth, the Brollywood disaster. We needed to find out who nominated Tiga for Witch Wars, Peggy explained. And did you? Mrs. Brew asked. No, Tiga said glumly. All I know is that they sent this anonymous letter. She pulled the letter out of her pocket and a gust of wind nearly whipped it away into the darkness. Guard that letter with your life. It's the only evidence you have, said Fluffernusa as Tiga stuffed it back in her pocket. An anonymous letter? Intriguing, said Mrs. Brew as the car veered onto a dark country road. And weird, Peggy mumbled through a mouthful of noodles. She pressed the button and a huge tower of ice cream balls landed in front of her. Tiga has never met anyone from Sinkville. Well, someone here must know you, said Mrs. Brew. If she wins, she'll have all the time in the world to look for whoever sent that letter, Peggy spluttered as she shovelled mouthfuls of ice cream into her mouth. But if she loses, she'll have to go back to horrible Miss Hex above the pipes. Mrs. Brew turned round and looked at Tiga. You can do it, she said. You'd better do it, said Fluffernusa. Ritzy City is so much more fun with you in it. And you brought jeans. Peggy nodded enthusiastically, so much so that the ice cream dribbling down her face splattered all over Tiga. And that is where we're going to stop ours. So join me tomorrow for chapter 34, which is called Camping. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye.